The Mars Sunshine 120 Shine speedrun is my favorite speedrun category of all time. There's so many tricks, routes, and strats to optimize that there's just so much room for growth, even in 2020. The world record has been lowered by over 2 minutes just this year, and we'll probably see even more improvement before 2021. However, learning the run can be a daunting task, and there are many things that you have to know that you wouldn't pick up on just from watching a run. This is why I was a bit surprised at the lack of in-depth tutorials for this category. My hope is that this video tutorial will equip you with the knowledge and strats you need to tackle the many challenges that this run has to offer. Before we start with the tutorial, I'm going to talk a bit about the purpose of the tutorial, what you should do before watching, and a bit about the 120 route in general. First off, this is the first full 120 Shines video tutorial, but there are multiple text routes already available. BRAMZ's text route, which I'll link in the description, is probably the best guide available, and includes a lot of decent strats. If you're pressed for time, or maybe just doing 120 Shines as a one-off run, I recommend using that guide. However, the route is slightly outdated, and the guide doesn't provide many video tutorials or explanations. My tutorial will be much more in-depth and provide explanations, alternative strats, and backups, so it's definitely worth watching if you want to get better. If you've already learned the run on BRAMZ's route, don't worry, the route I use isn't that much different, so it won't take that much getting used to. I'll also provide a link to the splits I use, so you can copy those if you want. So who will benefit from this tutorial the most? Well, this tutorial is meant for both beginner and advanced players. I'll go over optimal strats as well as easier, slower alternatives when it's necessary. The thing with this category is that for all the movement that I explain, you can pretty much always just do it slower if you aren't comfortable with doing it as fast as I do. Speedrunning is all about picking and choosing which strats and movement you should learn and when. If this is your first time picking up the category, I don't recommend doing all the tricks and movement that I showcase here. Just follow the basic outline and substitute your own movement in when you want. There will be times though when I explain a trick or a glitch and the easier alternative isn't always so obvious. So in these cases, I will do my best to provide an easier alternative or beginner strat. So what do I mean when I describe beginner and advanced players? In my mind, the advanced strats that I point out can be learned at any time really after sub 310 or so, but I recommend that most people don't consider them until they're in the sub 310 range. There are also a few expert strats that people shouldn't really do until around sub 3. Again though, you can learn them whenever you want, just try not to bite off more than you can chew. One last thing before I start the tutorial, and this is important. This tutorial will only go over things unique to the 120 Shine run. Any levels and sections that don't differ from any percent will be skipped over to save time. While you can learn 120 Shines before any percent, it's probably easier for you to do a few any percent runs before watching this tutorial. But you don't need to be an expert or anything. Just know the general movement, and probably Yoshi skip and Gelato skip. Now to talk about the run itself. In Mars Sunshine, after beating a level, you'll sometimes see a small cutscene that shows something around Delfino Plaza. These lose time, and you don't want that. To get rid of these cutscenes, the 120 route basically gets into Corona Mountain as early as possible, and once you exit it, the cutscenes will disappear. This means that the first half of the run will more or less follow the 80% run, with some extra blue coins and a few extra shines. The second half is where the run actually gets interesting. Alright, enough of that. On to the tutorial, and good luck.